customs of the ancient Britons. Now, when I tell you that there are certain aspects of this which are so unfathomable, almost, when you are first confronted with the information, that it's very, very difficult to revert back to default setting and to be cynical about all of this and think, well, you know, maybe this is just some utopian ideal, maybe this is an idea that sounds good in practice but it wouldn't work, there are so many reasons why it won't work. And what I would say to you, if you're having that kind of response, is you might be right. And I'm not going to dismiss the fact that you feel that or take that position. What I am going to say, that in my experience, if that means anything, is that to be a cynic, it doesn't take the knowledge of how to do anything, including how to be a cynic. It's very easy to dismiss things because of the programs we've all been affected by. And what I'm saying to you is, everything that you're saying, being presented through me tonight, is 180 degrees different from what I could have presented to you 3 years ago, because I hadn't rid myself of the fear that was still lurking in my subconscious. I hadn't yet been able to reach the point where I was able to cognitively absorb enough information to present some kind of picture that people could sit for 2 or 3 hours on a Wednesday night in the Northwest and listen to. The reason I've been through these processes was to establish whether or not the system was accommodating for anybody that tried to live their life in freedom and peace without creating any harm, injury or loss. I wanted to see what it would be like if I tried to live that way in their system. I only came up against opposition. They didn't stop me doing what I wanted to do, or my family. A lot of other people who I know, who I've helped, and a lot of other people who I've met through doing these things have had similar experiences. But by and large, people are just receiving injustice from the court system. And by the same token, from the public institutions, so-called public institutions, the NHS, despite the wonderful people that work within it, the staff are no longer being trained how to, if they ever were, how to cure people of ailments. They're being trained how to prescribe drugs for everything. I know so many people over a certain age who are scared of going into hospital, and I'm not saying, I have direct experience of family members being saved by the brilliance of health professionals. So don't think that I'm dismissing health professionals. I'm not. I'm saying the training is not to cure, it's to treat. To treat does not make better. It continues. It perpetuates. My mother has been on various forms of pharmaceuticals for 25 years. She has no ailment that could not be cured by a natural remedy, and every ailment that she is suffering from has been caused by the pharmaceuticals, because that which she was aiming to cure is no longer an issue. That went a long time ago. Blood pressure related issues, they went. Now it's osteoporosis. Now it's brittle bones. Now it's not being able to sleep, being constantly constipated, all caused by the pharmaceuticals. I'll give you an example. This is something that absolutely freaked my parents out. Even if they're in their 60s, both of them, and it absolutely freaked them out, despite what they know about my life to date. I broke my ankle. I completely knackered it. This is last year. It was cracked on this side and on this side. I couldn't walk. I couldn't put any weight on it for 4 weeks, and then I couldn't walk properly for the best part of 3 months. And then I started training on it, and I've been walking without people knowing for about, well, for about the 4-month stage. And I didn't go to hospital, not even for an x-ray. It was at 4 o'clock in the morning when it happened, and I didn't want to put my family through that. So we went home, and with the support and love of my wife, Amma, very understanding, not yet 2-year-old daughter, they got me through the first night's pain, and we applied oregano oil. This is organic Mediterranean oregano oil for the swelling. It took the swelling down And every 3 hours I had to reapply it, and it was blowing up like a football, and it was going back down to half a football. And this continued for a few weeks. Eventually, when the swelling started to go down, and by this point my parents are committed to the idea and telling everyone that I really have lost it this time because I refuse to go to the hospital, I'm never going to walk again. And, you know, a lot of people believe them because I'm getting phone calls saying, why didn't you go to the hospital again? And I explained that I didn't want to go into hospital because I believed that I could treat it and heal it myself. And when the swelling had died down, I started applying organic comfrey ointment. The ancient British name for comfrey ointment, or rather comfrey, knit bone. In the book, what can I say? No x-ray, nothing. No crack, both cracks gone within 4 weeks of starting to apply the comfrey ointment. Now, the ligaments, which were also shattered, are still regaining strength, but I haven't had any pain for months now. And, as I say, it's full recovery. Full recovery. And that's just using comfrey ointment, following the oregano oil. I can also tell you that here I have a mole that you might be able to see, but I used to have one just next to it. And that mole that was just next to it disappeared and left a little bit of crater that I won't invite you to feel, but you can feel a little bit of a crater. And I put oregano oil on that. Oregano oil from the Mediterranean has an ingredient, the active ingredient. And it has to have at least 80% caravel in there. And if it does, it is the strongest antiseptic known to man or woman. The strongest. It's so strong that in its pure form, when you put it on something that could be malignant, like a cancerous growth, because I developed what seemed to me, because I have looked into what might constitute melanomas, it seemed to me to be a melanoma, and I didn't want to go to the hospital. I thought I'll just put, if it's anything, the oregano oil might get rid of it. And wouldn't you know it, 3 days disappeared, completely disappeared. And I've used this to treat other moles that seem to be getting crispy, you know, because I've been in the sun or because I've used too much suntan lotion. I can tell you, having lived on the Mediterranean for a short while, the skin problems I had were while I was using suntan lotion. I got burned. When I stopped, I didn't get burned anymore. I didn't sit in the sun all day either and get sunstroke, but I didn't get burned anymore. So just to let you know, and these I think were the consequence of me sitting in the sun with suntan lotion on. But they went with that oil. Now I can also tell you that childhood eczema that I suffered from every winter on the backs of me calves was cured with Miracle Mineral Supplement. That's Jim Humble's cure. I can't remember it's called sodium chloride, or it used to be. It's been developed. He's got MMS2 out now. The first one was MMS1. Again, you can go to the health section at Free the Planet and see information on this. There have been lots of scare campaigns put out in the mainstream media about this, but there are a lot of accounts on the internet from people who claim to have cured everything from types of cancer to eczema, common colds. For me, you can take it orally, or you can apply it on your skin. I took it orally to get rid of the eczema, and it got rid of it in a couple of weeks, but I only took it 3 times because I couldn't stand the smell of the taste. And lots of people can't. It makes me gag. That's why I looked for an alternative, and I found it in the oils that I was talking about. However, the one oil that isn't so, or wasn't so readily available, and the best of the lot, to my knowledge, is hemp oil. Hemp oil, and the work of Rick Simpson, the wonderful work of Rick Simpson, who made a film called Run From The Cure, a Canadian guy. He grew a shitload of hemp on his land in Canada, and he told the authorities why he was doing it. He was doing it so he could provide hemp oil for the people he knew in his family and his friends who were suffering from cancer, and he cured them. He cured them when they were days away from death. You know, and the testimony of the former cancer victims is in the film, and he's been given the world. He doesn't want any adulation, he doesn't want any claim, he doesn't want any money. He wants everyone to have the medicine. Well, if anybody is suffering from any major life-threatening disease or anything else, or just wants to promote their own well-being, there is a website called hempforvictory.com. And you can be provided with the medicine if you get in contact with them. And these are DVDs and leaflets all about it, and until they're gone, everyone can take one at the end. So I'll pass those out. Now, I haven't tried that yet, but I know people who have. And that we've been programmed to believe about the NHS that it promotes health. It isn't true. It's supposed to. The hearts of the staff in the main are in the right place, because it's a very difficult place to go to if you're interested in making money. Because even the doctors, they only make money in the private sector, which is of course where a lot of the best treatment is available, but it's still treatment. Not most of this stuff that we're talking about, the European Union have already or are attempting to make illegal. And of course, hemp oil is illegal. But that means that there's legislation saying that hemp oil, or prescribing that hemp oil is illegal. Well, I can tell you one thing that is never illegal or unlawful under any law made by man. And that is the unalienable right of men and women and children of legal age, which is covered in the first two, I must admit. But men and women cannot be prevented from medicating themselves under any circumstances with whatever they deem fit and appropriate. It's an unalienable right. If you want to medicate yourself with Domestos, no one can stop you. If you want to medicate with hemp oil, no one can stop you. But they're trying to. Because what would happen if all of these natural remedies were known by everyone, were taught to everyone? No pharmaceutical industry anymore. You don't need it. There are things like anesthetic in serious situations where we need surgery that maybe, yes, we do need. There are certain painkillers like morphine under certain circumstances that could be used in very, very dramatic situations. I'm not saying we should get rid of all of it. What I'm saying to you is the vast majority of people who are using pharmaceuticals prescribed by the medical professions are suffering as a result. Their health is getting worse, not better. When all of the natural remedies to cure virtually everything are available now to all of us. It's just we haven't yet become cognizant of the knowledge. The wonderful thing is, just knowledge of a few of these things can get rid of virtually every problem. Who has heard in this room of tissue salts? Okay. Get at the back. What do you know about tissue salts?
The only topic I know from the local treatment or cure.
For what?
Any illness you want, basically.
Exactly, exactly. Now, this is going to sound like a little bit of a non sequitur, but bear with me. I found out through growing my own garden, very, very, very early days, but enjoying it. I cut up half the garden and dug it up and put 65 vegetables in it, so it all went wrong, obviously. But anyway, I realised that one of the problems with the soil is it's got a shortage of potassium and magnesium. And I did some research and found out that the shortage of potassium and magnesium is not because of anything I did to it, because I haven't used any chemicals on it. Because if we previously used chemicals, and it was a lawn before, it's because of the chemicals used to grow the grass or put on the lawn. It's suffering from a deficiency, so I've got to add those substances and other substances which I'm not yet aware of or I don't know enough about to tell you about. But when I thought about that, I thought, hang on a second. So chemicals in the land, they create a deficiency of nutrients that the soil needs. Well, what if chemicals in the body create the same deficiency? They do. All our chemical intakes have created a deficiency in the natural tissue salts that we need to be healthy. It produces unnatural aging, it produces joint problems, arthritis, rheumatism, osteoporosis, etc., etc., etc. The research I only found because my wife is after having 18 months without it, after a very difficult 6-month period, suffering from carpal tunnel syndrome, after she gave birth and when she started breastfeeding. She got it very, very badly again a few weeks ago, and we decided that we would have another look for the cause, which we hadn't been able to find previously, and then just I did a search on the internet. First search I do in this PDF from